Happy Monday, everyone. I've been down for a couple days with the sickness, and I think I'm back. I think we will live. And I have a story to share with you today. I know that you all be shocked, but the most pro-Second Amendment Department of Justice in American history is prosecuting a man for selling his own guns.
Assault rifles, AK-47s, AR-15s with a suppressor.
I know that you're shocked. That and more after we hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by the Modern Gun School. This is an accredited online university. Whether you're looking to learn a few things or trying to break into a career in the firearms industry, this place is set up to be streamlined and work for you so that you don't have to burn a large quantity of money to get an education in the firearms arts. And that gives you some latitude to pursue other educational pursuits like, a business degree on top of your firearms education. So go check them out at Modern Gun School and tell them that I sent you. Let's get into today's video. Today's story is written up by New Hampshire Public Radio, which I'm sure is a beaming source of objectivity. While I have strong opinions about the government prosecuting people for selling their personal property, there's a second story here that I would like to cover for you folks. And that is, look, for my entire life, it has been, you can sell a firearm and then, maybe a couple here or there, it's your personal property, you can sell it. But if you're engaged in the business of selling firearms, well, then you need to have a license to do that. And whether you believe that that's the case or not, that is currently the law of the land, that in order to engage in interstate commerce, you have to obtain a federal firearms license. And interstate commerce, if that weapon was made of any material or spring or anything like that that wasn't made in this case, the state of New Hampshire, then it constitutes interstate commerce. Whether you believe that that is the way that it should be or not, it is currently the way that it is. And for most of my life, it has been, you can dabble in it a little bit, but if you start making any kind of like serial pattern of behavior, then you need to go get a license. Well, the Biden administration really stuck their finger in it, and they went like, if you make any profit whatsoever, you're engaged in the business. Well, it seems that the Trump Department of Justice is continuing along that line. And what we have here is an instance of a former Sig Sauer employee that I will, again, going back to my previous point, behaved rather stupidly, reselling hundreds of guns that he bought on his company discount, allegedly. And did he do it like at a gun show where it was like, I got this and that, and then he laid them out? No, he posted about it on the internet, and that's how he found his folks, right? And then he accepted Venmo as a payment method and all that sort of stuff. So let's get into this thing. A former machinist from the New Hampshire-based gun manufacturer Sig Sauer is facing federal wire fraud and firearms charges after allegedly using his employee discount to purchase and resell guns without a license. Patrick Goulet purchased hundreds of guns using his name and the names of other employees to acquire those weapons between August of 2021 and June of 2024. Look, okay. As a federal firearms licensee, okay, yes, there's a lot of paperwork that you got to do, and it's dumb, and et cetera, and it shouldn't be that way, all right? But if this dude had just, that's 3 years, if he had just paid $200 for a federal firearms license, a dealer in firearms, and you can obtain one of those for your home residence in most locations. It really depends. I'm not going to name any names, but one of my friends in the industry actually had a problem, not with the ATF, but like his local Homeowners Association had a problem with them holding a business license, not even a federal firearms license. It was something about the Homeowners Association basically said no businesses can be held in the residential area, that sort of thing. So it wasn't even a gun thing even. It wasn't ATF or any of that sort of stuff. It was your local stuff. So he fixed that. But basically, federal firearms licenses are shall issue. And I'm assuming that he was working as, it says he's working as a machinist, and he was working at Sig Sauer. That means he probably had a clean background. So he's not gonna not be issued that license. And I would say selling several hundred weapons, that he would have made enough off of those that he probably could have even bought an office or rented an office to do it out of, and then it would have been completely legit. Now, do I think that he should have to do that sort of thing? And do I think the Department of Justice is wrong for prosecuting this man? The first question is, I don't think it should have to be that way. And second, I don't think the Department of Justice should be doing this, especially one that is claiming to be the most pro-Second Amendment thing since we came up with the self-contained cartridge. Pistols, rifles, Washington, Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. Yeah, cross state lines with all of it. So, not a good look. So I guess the moral of this is the Department of Justice is saying one thing over here and doing another over here. And I'm going to tell you that if you think that you want to engage in behavior like this sounds like a great side hustle. Don't lie about it to your employer, because you very well might get indicted for for faking your transactions type thing. That's illegal. But if you're going to engage in something that approximates this, $200 and it's a 3-year license, $200 for the amount of money that he probably made off of this, and now he wouldn't be staring down the barrel of a federal indictment. It's probably going to put him in jail for a long period of time. He has pled not guilty, and I would very much like to see one of the Second Amendment organizations swoop in and unfuck this, because clearly the Department of Justice has no qualms about saying they're the pro-Second Amendment and then doing stuff like this. I have just one more nugget that I want you guys to ponder on for a moment. Allegedly, he was selling between August of 21 and June of 24. But he was fired from SIG in 23, which means that there was a incongruency between what he was acquiring and what he was moving. That has to be the truth, because if you no longer had a supply as of 2023, then you can't sell into 2024, right? So my question is, what is the tempo of that? Was he selling ones and twosies here or there up until he got fired, and all of a sudden he's fired and he's got to pay his mortgage, and now he's liquidating his personal collection? Because I'll tell you what, that's what it would look like if I was working somewhere, and because I've acquired lots of stuff over the course of my life, and if I fell on really hard times and needed to pay for some stuff, then I would liquidate some stock that I had built up over the years. That's just kind of how a lot of people do it. Oftentimes, really nice pieces get offloaded to the secondary market because people lose a job or something like that. I'm very interested in that sort of thing. But what I would like for you to ponder on, it sounds like he got fired from SIG, right? Probably related to something like this. This is me reading between the lines. It's probably related to this whole thing. I find it very coincidental that he's a machinist and he's conducting otherwise illicit behavior, because it is illegal to get stuff at a discount from your employer and then resell it for profit in most places. And If it's not, then usually they have it in their handbook. Like I've worked many places where they're like, you can't use your employee discount and then off this stuff to the secondary market. You can't do that sort of stuff. You can give things as gifts, but you can't use that discount to profit from, right? You're not allowed to do that. Anyway, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about tampons or 50 caliber rifles. Doesn't matter. Anyway. What role does SIG play in the feds suddenly becoming aware of this in late 2025?